Hi, this is Heimoth from the French black metal band SETH, and you are listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I'd like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio with its 13th anniversary already.
Heimoth, it's a great pleasure to have you here, and I want to welcome you to the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Same here, thank you.
We're still waiting for St. Vincent as well. I hope he can show up so we can start talking, but in the meantime, we're going to start. No problem. Heimoth, it's been so long that me and Season of Mist are working out for this interview, but we couldn't do it. I believe you guys were very busy, and I'm very, very, very glad to have you guys finally here, and I want to thank you very much for doing this interview, okay?
Yes, thank you, that's great, because I know that we've been trying hard to get in touch, but yeah, unfortunately, as you said, we've been quite busy, thanks to, the great feedback we've had for the album so far.
Yeah. Okay, the French black metal scene a couple of decades ago was often being overlooked. Fans of the genre often favoring Scandinavian bands. What they are missing through was a selection of superb offerings, one of those being a SETH, being a pioneer and a band within French black metal scene. Do you believe that the French metal scene gets its respect and recognition it deserves nowadays?
Well, I think it's been going for quite a few years now, but it's true that French black metal scene has been very active since the 90s. We are just being recognized quite late, that is to say nowadays. But despite that, we have had many bands in France. I'm thinking of Decline of the Eye, and I'm also thinking of Merrimack in the 90s as well, that were evolving together with SETH as well from the beginning. There's also Gorgon, who are also releasing a new album this year. What is good, though, is that we have still a lot of old bands still going these days. Not that many, but they are still under the spotlights, and they get attention as well. So we've had a very solid French black metal scene for years, but somehow people are getting more interested quite recently.
How was the band formed? I mean, besides you as the guitarist, original member, and drummer Alsvit, who else completed the current lineup, please?
Basically, it was formed in the 90s together with me and Alsvid, and also the very first singer, Arkames, who actually left the band by the beginning of the, I think it was in 2000. So we actually changed lineup over the years, but to tell you the truth, I think we have had since 2 years, that is to say with La Morsure du Christ, and also the anniversary years of our first album, I think we have had the most solid lineup ever seen in the band today. We now have a keyboard player, and we also have a new guitar player, Drakian, and the keyboard player is called Pierre Le Pape. We have a solid lineup today also because we all have strong experience in our other bands. For example, our bass player also plays in Archon Faustus, and of course Alsvid also played in the past with Enthroned. So we are all rather experienced musicians, and I think it does help in creating the album that we are putting through today.
Okay, the release of the debut album in 1998, Les Blessures de L'Ame, quickly gained international attention and SETH built a solid fan base. The band signed to a release deal with Osmose Productions and participated on the MAYHEM cult tribute album, Originators of the Northern Darkness, if I remember, alongside IMMORTAL and BEHEMOTH. Tell us more about that MAYHEM tribute album, please.
I think it was the very first tribute album that was released as an honor to MAYHEM. I think it was basically released in 1999. We had already released our first album on Season of Mist at the time, but we were not quite established on Osmose already. So I think the story was that Avant-Garde Music, the Italian label who was about to release that tribute, just called Season of Mist, to have us in the lineup of this tribute. And also, we've always been strong fans of MAYHEM, and we've also been quite close friends from the 90s with MAYHEM as well. So for us, it was very natural to actually be featured in this tribute album. And for the record, we are the only one who had the opportunity to actually release, cover a track that was part of the Wolfslayer Abyss EP that was released in 97, I believe.
Yes.
Since the other tracks that were featured in this tribute came from the early past of MAYHEM.
Okay, the band has released a second album, The Excellence, that came out in 2000 and featured a contribution from no other than Fenris of the Acte, who wrote the lyrics for the song Let Me Be the Salt in Your Wound. How did you nail this collaboration with Fenris, Heimoth?
He used to be a very, very good friend of us. We've just met in Norway, I think it was in 97 or something.
You went to a festival in Norway or what that you met with Fenris?
Yeah, that was in Norway that we actually met each other. And we became friends. So we had, many opportunities to talk. And eventually he just said hi to Seth in the Goat Lord album. So we are the only band who are actually mentioned in the Dark Throne album that is called Goat Lord. I think that was out in 98, which is a release featuring all rehearsing tracks. Anyway, as I said, we became close friends and he mentioned us in this album. At some point, we just wanted him to also be featured somehow in our second album. So he definitely said yes to write some lyrics for us.
That's very great. I think you guys must have been very honored to have Fenris collaborating with you guys.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, the band's third album, Divine X, which was released in 2002, was recorded at the SETH studio in Rotterdam. This record demonstrated the ability of the band to mix gloomy and violent atmosphere and to receive extensive coverage from international metal press at the time. After different lineup changes, this album had Nacht on vocals and guitars. What do you remember of this album and the work done with Nacht?
Well, it was the first time that we did record an album abroad. We went to Holland to record that and we stayed in his studio for like 1 month. It was our second album on Osmose Productions and our last actually. So we took a very different music approach, much more, I'd say, kind of futuristic aspects to the band. So one very important feature for Seth is that we actually never put out a record that sounded the same as the previous one. So musically, the band has been marked in some kind of discontinuity. So album 1 was very black metal melodic, album 2 was more like dissection musical approach, and this album 3, Divine X, was again something quite different. And also we also had a new singer at the time, Nacht, and everything went well. It was a great experience to stay that long in studio, and I have very nice memories about that.
If I may ask, was that normal? I mean, back in the days that you have to stay 1 month in the studio?
Kind of, yes. Back in the days, we actually did pretty much everything in studio. I mean, from maybe not writing music, but from actually recording the guitars, the bass, and all the instruments, then mixing, then mastering. And now a lot of bands do not do that much. They just record from home because it's just easier, and with new equipment and modernity that we have, we can just do this by ourselves. So it ends up people going in studio for in not such a long period. When people go in studio, it's basically for mixing and also mastering, but not much for recording, besides the drums, of course, that are still recorded in professional studios. Today, a lot of people just have studios from their own home. So
you guys have returned to the Netherlands to record your fourth album, Decay, in 2004. 2 new members joined the ranks of SETH, vocalist Black Messiah and guitarist Cyrix. Afterwards, the band was invited to play at the prestigious Inferno Festival in Norway back in 2005. Did you know Black Messiah and Cyrix from before? And how was the time spent working with Osmose Productions?
Yeah, of course we knew this new singer because he was actually living in our hometown called Bordeaux on the west coast of France. So it kind of made sense as well for us to hire him as the new singer. That was also a time when we started playing live much more than what we used to do, because when the band actually started, we did not care much about playing live and hitting the stage. We just remained quite mysterious, and we didn't think that black metal had to be played live. So did a lot of other bands at the time as well. But anyway, the reason why we actually changed lineup over the years was that a lot of people, former people, didn't want to play live at all. So anyway, we started playing live with this new singer. Then, as you said, we also made a lot of prestigious festivals, such as this Norwegian festival called Inferno, and there were so many great bands playing on these weekends. There were Morbid Angel and also Dissection, so it was great for us. We also played a time with Dissection as well in France, in northern France. It was a very nice live show. It marked, again, a new part for the band.
To tell you one thing, I always go to festivals in Europe, and one festival that I always, desire to go is Inferno Fest. But, last year was the first year I said that I book everything, I pay everything, I had everything done to go to the festival. 2 weeks before that festival, 2020, it was canceled because of COVID. I still couldn't believe this, And now I'm seeking to go 2022 or 2023 again. Let me see. Let me cross the finger.
You think you're going to attend next time?
2022, I'm not sure because I'm just going over to Europe this coming December for Eindhoven Metal Meeting. That's December, so I don't think I can make it back to Europe already for April, where this festival takes place. So I believe it's going to be more towards the 2023, because the 2022 I might be flying back to Europe in the summer for Wacken or Brutal Assault.
Okay. Eindhoven Metal Meeting is great festival too, so that's great.
Okay, thank you. To continue with this interview, Heimoth, after the band's fourth album, Year of Decay, in 2004, a long hiatus followed until the band returned in 2011 to play an exclusive show that was in Germany with the German cult act Bethlehem, with almost the same lineup when gone on hiatus. Heimoth on guitar, Halvis on drums, Cyrich on guitars, and Black Messiah on vocals, with the exception that the band this time returned with Eagle on bass, replacing Heldrick. How come you guys decided to reform the band in 2011? Was it because the show in Germany with Bethlehem?
Well, not exactly. It wasn't much of a reformation, because to me the band had just never died. I had to go abroad for quite some time, so some other stuff to keep in mind, to think of. So I had no time to give to the band. And after so many years, I was thinking that I had to do something else as well for myself. But anyway, when I went back to France, I started talking to the other guys whether, they wanted to continue. And everyone was on board. So the first opportunity we had was to play a show in Germany. It was a very nice one, of course, playing with Bethlehem. There was also a lot of other bands whose name I can't recall, but I think there was Alec Tudulo as well.
I'm sorry, that confirmation playing with Bethlehem for that special show and all the other bands, that when you guys already decided to get back together?
Yes, that's it. It wasn't the reason why. It was just an opportunity for us to actually come back on stage. But we were already rehearsing before these opportunities.
Okay. Okay, the band rejoined the ranks of Season of Mist, eventually releasing the Howling Spirit in 2013 and embarking on Europe tour with Pestilence. Several appearances at major festivals follow, including Hellfest and Glass Pop Metal Meeting. How was the band experience doing the 2014 passed over Europe with Pestilence?
It was great. It was a 2-week tour opportunity, and there was also a third band as well, English band, playing with us. And it was the first tour for the band, actually. We were all in tour bars with the guys of Pestilence. We actually had a blast. We played pretty much everywhere in Europe, a lot of Eastern European countries as well, if I may recall. But yeah, that was great. I was very happy because we were all very much into this new album, The Howling Spirit. So we had to somehow, support the band and support the CD, the album, and show the whole Europe how well we could actually deliver this album on stage. So we are very happy to do that.
I had a great opportunity to interview Patrick Mameli for the band's albums.
Okay, good.
So he's a great guy.
Great guy.
I believe you guys had a great time with him.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Les Blessures de L'Ame in 2018, SETH exclusively performed the entire album at the festival in Switzerland, Canada, Mass de Meurtre, and Belgium's Triomphe. The French label Les Océans de L'Ame Production released a live recording of these shows called Event on the Blasphème. Why did you choose to record the album at this La Feuille de Béton festival, and how was the North American tour to Canada been?
Actually, we were not aware of the recording of this live when we delivered the show. One day after, we had a call from the organizer, who is the guy owning the French label Les Acteurs de l'Ombre, and he said, look, we have this recording, I would like to release it on my label, what do you think? And we just said yes, because it sounded great. So basically it was our third live show, our third celebration of the first album live show, and it ended up being recorded and released. So this was a great surprise for us. And shortly after, we also went to Canada for the third time, actually. Canadian people like us. Indeed, and for another celebration show, and it was amazing. We had actually got to play in a proper church. It was a great time.
to going more forward, Seth has lifted up the flame of those early days again with La Morsure du Christ, which means the bite of Christ. The record was worldwide released on May 7, 2021 via Season of Mist. After the band's debut album, Les Blessures de L'Ame, the band returned home after a long hiatus in 2013 with the Howling Spirit. How was the promotion, sales, distribution for this album, going this time? And are you guys happy with, yes, to coming back home with a label of a Season of Mist, and how are the support going from the label?
I think it's great because, as I said just before, there was some kind of discontinuity in the musical approach that the band had throughout the years. But with this new album, there is no more discontinuity because it is direct sequel to album 1. So after all the celebration anniversary shows that we played, we just realized that we wanted the band to be back with the music approach of the first album. So we all decided to actually go back to writing French lyrics, something that was definitely part of our very first identity. So this is a strong album that has been delivered 3 months ago, and the feedback that we have had is quite amazing, actually. So, we hear a lot of people around. It's pretty crazy. They're saying that this album can be the best black metal album of the year. So we'll see better.
To tell you the truth, I know, a lot. I go to a lot of black metal albums. I go to a lot of albums every single day. And believe me, people are not lying. I believe I self have a top 50 albums of the year, dark metal album, and which I think that you guys gonna be very high on the top list. I don't want to say number 1 or 2, but it's gonna be. And I think, Seth, for those out there, watch out, this band with this great album, La Morsure du Christ, believe me, to be the best album of the year. It's contender to be the best album of the year. And I'm not lying to you, Heimoth. I'm very glad to have this chance talking to you and could be able to tell you about this great work that you guys have done.
Well, thank you. It's very, very nice from you. But hopefully, we can actually deserve it. I don't know. But anyway, that's very nice to hear anyway.
Okay, talking about this album, Charles Baudelaire was born in Paris 2 centuries ago on April 9, 1821. And the new album, Saint Vincent, pay homage to him. I'm so sorry that he's not here now, but if you can answer this for him, explain us about this homage.
Yes, well, he was actually one of his main inspiration. I think this poet was one of the leader of French Romanticism at the time and French melancholy of the 19th century. And St. Vincent has been largely indebted with such poetry. He has written French Alexandrine in a very genuine way. So basically all his lyrics are very influenced by 19th century French poetry, and especially Charles Baudelaire. And the themes are quite the same as well.
Okay, great. Tell me, you guys have released some video, one premiere that was for the song La Morsure du Christ and Les Océans du Vide. What do you like to share with us about these songs and their themes?
Well, La Morsure du Christ, for example, is the very first song of the album. And of course, it does echo or does resonate throughout the album. So it does work with the cover that we've released and the whole concept. So the album title can be translated as The Bite of Christ. And it does epitomize the dying faith that we have witnessed through this marvelous cathedral that has nearly died 2 years ago, that is Notre Dame. So when we discovered the blaze of Notre Dame, we were actually it was rather moving moment as well, but for us it also marks the beginning of a new era and the failure of Christianity. It was like one before and one after, just like the September the 11th in the US. It was as shocking and as impressive, and symbolically speaking, we can find similarity between them. So that's it.
Okay, talking about Notre Dame, the blazing inferno of Notre Dame de Paris is depicted on the cover, an event that shocked the whole world on April 15, 2019. The release of the record marks the second anniversary of the event. How did you decide to use this terrible incidents as the album cover artwork? And was this the first time working with Leoncio harm?
Well, for many reasons, actually. First, as we said, this is a concept album. And since there is a strong connotation that brings back people in the genuine black metal of the 90s, this new album is a 90s black metal revival. So we used the classic black metal iconography of burning churches. Second, we experienced together, at least for French people, the burning of this cathedral. So we're also assuming our French identity with French lyrics. So Notre-Dame de Paris is a worldwide known French monument and symbol. Finally, as I said just before, Notre-Dame de Paris, also the blaze, just epitomized the end of religion and spirituality in the Western world. So it's like a death certificate for us.
Okay, recording Studio Saint Mark, also mixing and mastering at Studio Saint Mark by producer and sound engineer Francis Castle. How was the time in the studio gone, and how was it working with Francis Castle?
It was the best experience I have had personally to record with a sound engineer. He was by far the best we've had, and also by far the best sound that we have had as a record. He's worked with many other great artists. His studio is based in Paris. I live in Paris, so everything made sense, and we are all very happy with the result.
Okay, great. To go to the last part of the interview, I can see here that you guys have described that you have received over 20,000 views on YouTube in 4 days by your new album. I mean, Relief, Intoxication of the Flames Burning Notre Dame de Paris with your bloodied imperial stout with a unique brew, La Morsure du Christ, in collaboration with Brasserie Hardiac. Explain us more about this stout, and are them available to order via Bandcamp?
Well, the thing is, we cannot just legally sell alcohol. So basically, if people want to buy this beer, then we can deliver a proper link to be shipped. Provided you buy 2 or 3, then you can be sent this beer. This is on the French website. Maybe I can send you the address somehow. I don't know.
But for people that wants to, buy a case, buy 2 cases, 3 cases, like you said, should they go through the Bandcamp self, or how should they get it? I mean, it's not legal. Maybe you don't have enough documentation to do it just like that. What should they do then, or who should they go to buy this? And will this be available at any time?
Actually, the brewery sent about 1,200 bottles, and they are all gone already. So they are doing new ones at the moment, and new bottles will be available by the end of September. And we are also making glasses as well, to drink properly, of course, with the SETH logo on them and La Morsure du Christ logo as well. So I think all will be available by the end of September on our website, on our eShop, in nomineseth.fr. If they want more detail, I think they can just go on the Facebook, SETH Facebook, and there are details.
Okay, very clear. So for all of those that you want, especially to taste it and as your collection, you can check the Bandcamp.
Yes, people need to be careful. This is a very strong beer. It is about 12 degrees.
When I'm in Holland, I'm going to try to see if I can get... Do you have them in Holland? Because I'm going to be flying to Holland, so I might want to try them.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know how to do that.
Okay.
I'll try to arrange something.
Okay, very great. Okay, to end this interview, actually, yes, La Morsure du Christ is the awaited long player, the first studio album by SETH in 8 years, with adjustment lineup driven, by Alvis and Heimoth. SETH unveil an album that shows why the wait was worth and the effort. What are the band's plans in support of the great new album, and what are the shows or festivals that you guys have already booked for 2022?
Well, we are already booked for next Stillfest, we are already booked for next Hellfest, and also booked to quite a lot of other European festivals at the moment. Actually, we are quite excited because next week will be our very first La Morsure du Christ show. Yes, next weekend. This is going to be in Switzerland, in a festival called Forest Fest. So there will be a lot of, I believe, French, Germans, and possibly Italian people, maybe Belgian people as well.
But that's going to be somewhere
yeah.
in Zurich or in the French side?
I think this will be in a German side, right in the middle of the forest.
Okay, because I've been to Zurich and I've been to Geneva, both sides.
Yes, that's great. Great country.
Yeah, very beautiful country. But I must also congratulate you because I traveled to whole France and, from point A to point Z, and you have a very beautiful country. I love. I was in Bordeaux as well.
Great, nice.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, beautiful. Great memories. I can't wait to come back.
Awesome.
Okay, Heimoth, my last question before we end this great interview. Yeah, what are the formats that the album has been put available, and how about merch?
Well, we've had about 5 or 6 different vinyl formats already. It's kind of crazy. And all of them are gone, but we still have some black vinyls with one side that is etched. So they are all extremely nice, and they are also very limited to 300 or 400 copies. So today we still have some black vinyls available, and some new vinyls will be also announced very soon to be available in 3 months. And also we made a very limited box as well that was limited to 300 copies with 2 bonus tracks, but this was gone from even before it was out. Yeah. And there's a tape format as well that is still available in a box from the label Les Acteurs de l'Ombre. I think they have 50 copies still available. So in this box you have 1 patch, 1 pins, you have also stickers and a lot of things, and also, as I said, the La Morsure du Christ tape format. And of course we also have the regular Digipack CD version. That's about it. As I said, we are going to have some beer glasses available, we have t-shirts, and also we are thinking to actually make some La Morsure du Christ hoodies as well. All of this is available on our e-shop. People can go on the Facebook to find the e-shop.
Okay, I believe that for those that really like the cover artwork, even though it's very famous Church in Flame, but if you want to have this t-shirt with this cover artwork on, as Heimoth said, they're all available. So we check the Bandcamp out. I can't wait to have this album in my hand. Yeah, buy the album, download it because I bought it. It's great, but I still, I'm still... As I said, I'm an old schooler, so I like to see it. I like to have it in my hand, either the vinyl or just the...
That's the right thing to do. You're definitely right to buy, the actual version, whether this is in vinyl or CD. A lot of people are, in the metal scene are like that, and that's still what makes the scene alive. So, we need to thank all these people who actually buy actual CDs and vinyls. So thank you for this interview.
I want to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio for you to thank whomever you want to thank. Email the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio is all yours.
Yes, thank you for this great interview. I was very happy to actually communicate with you, especially that you are, based in Miami and also in the Caribbean. I would love to go there as well one day, and because I scuba dive myself and also free dive, so this is a great place, and I wish I could go one day.
Very welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to Metal Messiah. Cheers.
Once again, I want to thank you very much. I want you to say hi to all of the band members for me when you see them, please.
Okay.
And I am, looking forward to see you guys on the road. I can't wait to see you guys playing live. Yeah, I don't know yet. Maybe instead of going to Wacken 2022, I might go to Hellfest 2022. Who knows? And then I might see you guys there. So we keep in touch.
Okay. Keep in touch. Thank you.
Like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.